Okay, good afternoon. I'm going to give a lecture on website development this afternoon. Now let's look at what website development is. We're going to begin by looking at what the word web simply means. So web, this is the platform-independent technology that allows different applications to run on the internet. So basically, we are saying the web is quite similar to internet, except that the web is software-oriented as opposed to internet, which is hardware-oriented. Both of them, they mean the same. They all mean worldwide web. Now, what about the web page? The web page, literally speaking, we can say it's a page that can be distributed on the web, or basically on the internet. But technically speaking, we can say the web is the HTML file, of which we'll discuss later on what HTML is. First, let's move on to another term called website. What is a website? A website is a collection of web pages, which means if someone wants to develop a website, he or she needs to start with the individual pages, which are later on interconnected to come up with a website. Now let's look at some of the guidelines which we need to follow as we develop a website. According to the Worldwide Web Consortium, the W3C, they have divided the website development into 4 layers, of which the first layer is the content, which would be done by HTML. And the second layer is presentation, which should be done by basket style sheet. And also interactivity, which will be done by JavaScript, and connectivity, which will be done by the SQL in terms of the database, and also the connectivity using PHP. So then, let's look at the HTML as we look at the content of the website. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, which simply means this is the mother tongue of every browser. So when we say HTML is the mother tongue of the browser, we are saying it can be understood by any browser available. Okay? So then, what are the elements of HTML? The elements of HTML are as follows. We have the tags and also the attributes. The tags in this way can be defined as the elements that enable someone to develop the web page content. And they come in 2 types. That is got the content tags, which comes in pairs, and also got empty tags, which are not used in pairs. What is the structure of the tag? We use the angle brackets to put the tag name inside. And when you write it in this way, we call this as open tag. But when you put the / inside the angle brackets, we call this as a close tag. So, more especially when it comes to content tags, these are the tags that require that we use the open and the close tag. Why? Because we enclose the content inside these tags. What about the attributes? Right? The attributes. These are elements which gives the tags the additional information in order to make them more specific. For example, the tag image. This needs attributes such as the source, the size, identity to make it complete, as we shall see later on. Otherwise, the way it is too general and vague, so it cannot be done, it can't do what is intended to do. So for us to get what we want, the right size of the image, the image we want, we need to provide more information to this tag. Now let's look at the layout of a web page. The web page, as we mentioned, it is the HTML file, which means it is a file that is written in HTML. So how do you write HTML? Start with the HTML tag on top. Then you specify the head details, which contains the title, where you can put anything here to show, okay, which will be displayed in the title bar. And also, once you close the header, you can start with the body, and you can put anything inside the body, which should be displayed inside the main page. Once you close the body, you also close the HTML. So for this to work well, we need to save it with an extension .html, which means provide a name, then .html. And you save the above, as mentioned earlier on, the above code to HTML, because in that way it is going to be opened in a particular web browser. So we're going to practice HTML with these following examples. Look at how we can write the page which displays the header size, which shows the lists of items, the images, which shows the forms, the tables, and basically look at how we can connect all the pages that we create using the anchors. So now let us begin with the header size as we look at this page now. So now, how do you code, okay, a web page that will display different header sizes using the H1 up to H6? So let's follow. So begin with HTML. There you can do the head. Also put the title. In this case, you can quite my header. Close. Once you're done with the title, you need to close the title. And since the head is also done, you need to close the head. That. This moment now, since all the header details are done, we can now open the body. So inside the body, that's where we're going to give all the header sizes starting from H1 to H6. H1 is the biggest header size, so as we put H1 there, you'll see that it is going to display a bigger size. So this title, side, development. So I'm done with the H1, I need to close it. Okay, H1 is closed. And I'll do break so that I can go to the next page. Again, I'll do the same. I'll go to H2 with the same title so that you can see distinction. And I need to close H2. H2. Okay, so right now I'm going to speed it up. Remember, we said it has to be up to H6. So I'm going to speed it up so that we can move pretty fast. I'm going to copy this. Then I'm going to copy, paste them several times so we can just edit in the tags. Right, so this becomes H3. Okay, I also changed from there. H3. This becomes H4. Okay, this is also H4. This becomes H5. This is, okay, I'm closing H5. Right, so then I'm closing now H6, which I'm looking at now, H6. Once I'm done with that one, then I need to close the body because I'm done with the body now. Okay, so if I'm done with the body, which means I need to close HTML as well. Yeah. So basically, this code is going to display this title in different sizes. Remember, H1 is the biggest size. So as you go down to H6, you'll be reducing the size. Remember, we said once you code, okay, once you code, you need to save the code with an extension .html. So this is what we're going to do with this code. You go to File and click on Save As. And we're going to save this web. We'll save it, we'll call it. We're going to call it header. You say .html, so that can be viewed in the website browser. This is saved, people. As you can see, once you save it, it also changes then. So at this moment, I'd like to run this code so that you can see it. I'd like to this code. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if we can actually have this done quickly. All right, so let's do this. Okay. Let's have this one. Right, just quickly open it. Get back to the code. Right. Okay. Interesting stuff. Okay. So that's the thing about HTML. Once you write it, you have to remember that you need to save it as .html. Then you can view it later on in any of the browsers. So let's get back and see. I've managed to run it successfully. Now let's go and see how it is behaving. So let's go back to one of the Google browsers here. Okay, we'll see how it is open. Okay, let's just give it some time. It's going to open very soon. Yeah, pretty well. So as you can see, it has opened. So this is the output of what we have typed, right? So basically, as you look at the HTML, okay, the code is very simple. Once you stick to the format that we looked at on the previous lesson board, you find that you can write anything in the body and be able to produce code like this. Okay, now let's look at another example. So another example, we want to focus on another example, okay? So now let's get back to the system that you're looking at, right? Okay, so now let's do another example. Now this time, we want to see, okay, how we can actually insert the list items in the web page. So we begin all the time with HTML. Then you go to add, you specify the add details, okay? Specify the title, just like that. It's very important. Now this time you can call it my list. Okay, lists. Then after you're done with that, you can close the title. Okay, title, and you also close the add. As simple as that. We're done with the header details. Now we can go to the body. Now inside the body, we want to display a paragraph. Okay, we use the tag P. Okay, that will give us the statement that will show what will follow later on. So in this case, we want to say the following. The following are elements HTML. Right? Do this. Close this paragraph. Once you're done with it, and we break. We want to break the statement so that you can go. Now this time, we want to display the list of items that we are going to show. Now this time using ordered list. So say OL for ordered list. Then we start putting the list items. So list item number 1, we put tags. Of course, this list item. Right? Then we go to another list item number 2 and put attributes. Looks like that. Then we'll close this list item like that. there are only two elements of HTML, so you can also close now that product list. Okay, pardon, we start with that, and start on. So I need to break because I need to also show you how we can do this with, okay, bullets. Right. With the bullets, you will use an ordered list, which is UL. Right. From there, you will quickly write the list items, which are just the same. I want you to see the difference in terms of how they're going to be displayed. So this one, list item number 2, which we are going to go here. There, we can close list item 1 like that. Then we will close, right, the ordered list UL. So basically we are done. Now we can close the body. Then you can also close HTML. So once you know this format of writing the web page, no matter how long it will be, as long as you stick to the format, it becomes very, very easy. So we can save this as we mentioned later on. It has to be saved. Okay, we can save it as my lists. Right. Lists dot HTML for it to run in the browser. So save it, but right, as you can see, once you save it, you get automatic changes. Right. So what we'll do is we'll have it run. We'll run it in the Google Chrome browser, so that you can see it from what we are discussing, okay, today. So let's have it here, very good order. So this is the output of what you're looking. You can see this is the paragraph that we inserted. The following are the elements of HTML, and we had to put OR for ordered list. These are the items that we are inserting tags and attributes. And below there, remember we said you can also put bullets on the web page by using the ordered list. So basically it becomes very easy as you actually apply the principles of writing the page using that syntax. So whatever you want to put inside the page, you just be positioning them, labeling them in this manner. Well, this is all for the first lesson. Next time, I would like to discuss with you those other remaining examples that we looked at. So we have just looked at how we can actually do the header size in the HTML, and also you can set the lists in the HTML. So the next lesson that I'm going to offer, I'm going to discuss how we can set the images and also the forms. So please don't forget to follow this channel closely because it's going to help you improve your skills in website development and other ICT or computer science topics. So this is how far we can go. Thanks for watching.